Hello, everybody. I am tuning in today from one of my clinic spaces. This is a room that I practice in the Northern Beaches. And it's very beautiful here. Lots of birds, lots of nature. It's a really lovely part of the world to practice in. So you can see behind me in the cupboard there's some bottles of herbal medicines. And then I have some elixirs over on the left-hand side. That's where I do a little bit of mixing and preparing medicines. So yes, this is my space that I practice in up in the Northern Beaches. And I have another room closer to the city in Wallara. So if you were ever interested in coming in and having a consultation, just follow the links below and you can book a session in. Today I'm talking about a very common experience for a lot of women in perimenopause, the 8 to 12 years before menopause, and often inclusive of a year after achieving menopause. So what I'm talking about today is bloating, something that affects most women in perimenopause, and it is the perimenopause bloat. In this video, I'm going to tell you what causes chronic bloating in perimenopause, what exactly is happening under the surface that is making you feel like just breathing makes you bloated. And I'll explain a few things that you can do to reduce bloating. Hope this is useful for you because in many years of working with women through perimenopause and experiencing it myself, this is most definitely one of the more common symptoms in perimenopause. When I say perimenopause bloat or perimenoBLOAT, I'm not talking about occasionally feeling full after eating a really heavy meal. I'm talking about something that's much more chronic and persevering. There's a hardness about the bloat. It's very uncomfortable. It makes your waistline expand so that you feel like you have to go up a clothing size, or you get the muffin top appearance. And the bloating, actually, it can be soft as well. It can feel like your belly is very soft. But there is definitely gas involved in perimenopause bloating. And it becomes more frequent in the 40s for a lot of women. So I'm going to explain what the causes and driving forces are behind those sorts of changes, whether it's hormonal, whether it's microbiome and gut, and whether there might be some other factors as well, such as what and how you're eating. Bloating and increased fat are definitely more prevalent in the 40s, and it all comes down to the hormonal changes that are taking place. During perimenopause, the levels of estrogen and progesterone may fluctuate, but at the end of perimenopause, as we get closer to menopause, they have most definitely declined. This has an effect of slowing down your rate of digestion. And if there's one thing that will lead to gas accumulation and fermentation in your belly, it's a slowing digestion function. And if there's one thing that will lead to gas and fermentation in your belly, it's the rate of digestion slowing down. Essentially, this means that food is spending more time sitting in your gut, being broken down and metabolized. So during all that time, the bacteria that's acting on your food has more time to ferment it. So the number one thing you want to do is start to increase or accelerate that rate of digestion. Because if you don't, you'll end up with more gas and more bloating just because of all of that fermentation. So this is why I often give my perimenopause clients digestive enzymes. And they might seem like a little addition that they possibly could do with or do without, no big deal, a little bit of extra digestive support. But it makes a huge difference if you're waking up in the morning and you're already feeling bloated. It's a horrible feeling. Or if you're wanting to have some breakfast, just a tiny little bowl of food, and then straight after that you feel like you can't fit back into your pants. That's also a horrible feeling. So very small things like this that can increase your rate of metabolism do actually help you have a better experience of perimenopause. So never underestimate a very, very simple digestive enzyme, one before each meal, super economical, easy to take, often very small. Some have to be refrigerated, some don't. And I have amazing ones that work with the types of microbiome and bacteria changes that we see in perimenopause. Okay, so not all digestive enzymes are the same. Some of them work particularly with strains of bacteria that will be altered by the hormonal changes of perimenopause and menopause. So the changes in the microbiome also influence the types of bacteria that you're more likely to produce or less likely to produce. And this has an effect on the way that you process your foods and the gas and bloating that you might experience as a result of poor digestion. And even simply by altering the balance of your microbiome, when that balance is off, we get a whole host of symptoms. And there's a lot more research coming out on the microbiome, also the role that estrogen plays in regulating and assisting with microbiota health and vaginal microbiome as well. So we know that there's emerging science coming out that's giving us a lot more insights into the role that different bacteria are playing in our daily digestion and so on, and our urogenital health as well. But here's another twist. So yes, the hormones influencing a change in your microbiome can throw it off balance. That can cause more gas and bloating after meals. But also in the 40s, we become more inflammatory, and a lot of women will develop food intolerances that they never had before, or allergies to things that they never had before. So for example, lactose intolerance, dairy intolerance, gluten sensitivity, casein sensitivity. So even if dairy and gluten and histamine and casein never bothered you before, hormonal changes can make them harder for your body to process and digest. A slower metabolism in midlife plays a role as well. So digestion just naturally takes longer. And so you have these foods or these substances that your body is now getting more reactive to, and they're taking longer for your body to process. So you're exposed to them for a longer period of time. So it's definitely worth investigating whether you have developed any food allergies in perimenopause and what role they might be playing in the way that you're processing and digesting and getting symptoms as a result. So histamine, for example, would definitely produce some bloating, maybe a little bit of nausea, some headaches, maybe some gut pain as well. Each of those particular proteins or substances or foods will have their own symptom picture. And you may not be reacting to all of them. You could also be reacting to having too much of one of them or a couple of them. So what makes bloating worse? Here is a list of the foods and the drinks that you want to avoid if you are experiencing this chronic bloat feeling. And even if you're just in midlife and you want to have better digestive health, avoid these. First up, fizzy drinks, because yes, they're full of gas. So any drink that is fizzy is going to increase the amount of gas that you're taking in, and your digestive system has to deal with that gas. You know, it has to go somewhere. It doesn't just disappear. So that can be one of the contributors to chronic bloating. The legumes, particularly the beans, tend to increase bloating for a lot of us. You know, I love my beans, but there are some that my body doesn't like. For example, chickpeas. I just seem to get terrible bloating with chickpeas. And yet I do okay with cannelloni beans. So do some experimenting and find out which types of legumes and beans you react to and which are okay for you. And it's great if you don't have to eliminate them all just in case, because beans are full of fiber. They're an incredible fiber source, and we need at least 25 grams of fiber a day if you want to do things like have regular bowel motions, shift that midlife weight gain in the center of your body. So we need fiber. They're also very rich in protein, and we all need a good amount of protein. Now, if you haven't listened to it already, I have a video which breaks down how much protein, fiber, and water you need in perimenopause for healthy hormones, but also just for general health. So check that video out. I'll put the link down below for you. Sugar is not great for bloating because sugar actually causes a lot more fermentation. So if you can remove added sugars from your foods and even avoid eating a lot of sugary foods, that's perfect. I mean, that's kind of like my number 2 thing in perimenopause. I will share my number 1 thing with you another time. But try to watch the sugar intake and also look at sugar substitutes, because if it's sweet, it has a sweet effect in the body. Now, high fiber foods are actually amazing for you. And, we need a good amount of fiber every day. If we don't have enough fiber, for example, in our early 40s, we can run into problems with estrogen dominance and having way too much estrogen in our bodies. It makes our breasts very heavy, tender, swollen, and sore. It makes our moods a little bit crazy. It increases our risk of depression. That's been shown in a couple of studies. Check out my video on the links between fluctuating estrogen and depression in perimenopause. It's a really good one as well. And, with fiber, we need it to bind and remove a lot of our hormones that we don't need anymore. So we definitely want to make sure we have fiber. But the thing is that if you have a lot of high fiber foods in a very short amount of time, this will lead to a lot more gas production and bloating for you. So remember to pace your intake of high fiber foods, and preferably have a little bit of fiber with every meal, including any snacks. So you're getting your fiber intake, but it's not all at once. Sometimes, we're very busy. We have something like a fiber supplement, or we try to take our fiber and protein in all at once. You will get bloated after that. So if you can spread things out through the day, your digestive system will fare a lot better and you'll be feeling a lot slimmer. So here's the good news for bloating. These are 4 ways that you can reduce your bloat, 4 easy things that you can do to minimize your perimenoBLOAT. So number 1 is an old macrobiotic approach to eating. Chew your food. So in macrobiotics, they would say chew your food, maybe 140 chews for every mouthful that you take in. So you may not be doing 140 chews. It depends how much time you have to eat your food. If it's very leisurely, go for it. If you don't have that much time and you've got meetings and you're working and you're in and out of things and your time is more precious, then maybe just try to chew more consciously and chew and chew and chew. Really take your time. This gives your body a lot longer to prepare digestive enzymes in your stomach. It prepares your whole digestive system for the food that is about to come. Okay, so no, it's not kind of like all there at once, but all of the juices, digestive juices, digestive enzymes, everything's getting ready. So your digestion will be a lot more efficient if you chew your food more. Number 2 is eat smaller meals and eat more frequently. If you have bloating, avoid having a large amount of food in one go. And this also goes for having lots of, say, protein and fiber powders all in one go. Try to spread everything out so that you have maybe 6 meals a day, but they're very small meals. And this will serve you really, really well if you happen to have high cholesterol or high glucose levels in your blood. And it's one of the things that is recommended for people who are pre-diabetic or who are having issues with insulin or blood glucose levels are getting too high. Number 3 is drink your teas. Here are my top 5 herbal teas for bloating. Now, peppermint comes in at number 1 because it is so effective. But remember, you need to have a very good dose of these herbs. In tea bags, normally you get about a couple of grams. That's nothing in terms of herbal medicine. We'd be using maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grams of these herbs in one go. So, 3 tea bags, 3 peppermint tea bags in 1 cup of water. Sip that through the day and that will help you with your bloating. The other one I absolutely love is fennel. Fennel is amazing for bloating, and that's why it's also so great for little babies. When you're breastfeeding a newborn baby and you're drinking fennel tea, it improves the flow of your your breast milk, but it also reduces the risk of colic in your newborn baby. And they have very sort of young and undeveloped digestive tracts at that time, so they tend to create a lot of gas. That's why babies cry and they need to be burped, etc. So fennel, it's a very, very loving way to support your digestive system and reduce gas, pain, spasm in the digestive tract. Number 3 is ginger. I love ginger because it improves circulation through the middle of the body, and it's a classic herb that is often used for improving metabolism, reducing midsection weight gain, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful herb for improving digestive fire. The number 4 one is similar, is cinnamon, so it does the same sort of thing. And cinnamon is wonderful for bloating as well. The last herb is chamomile. Chamomile does a little bit of everything. It reduces the bloat because it improves your digestive function. It's warming and it moves a lot of energy to the middle of your body and helps you to process in your upper and lower digestive tract. It's also very calming. So unlike all of the other herbs, chamomile is the one that will calm down anxious eating, make you feel a little bit more relaxed as you're eating, and that translates into more relaxed digestion of what is happening and what you are eating at the same time. So they're my top 5 herbs. Other things you can do, of course, is just eat lots of, steamed broccoli, steamed veggies. If you have a lot of gas formation from the broccoli family, the Brassicaceae family, obviously try to avoid those. But I absolutely love meals where it's just a bowl of steamed greens. So I might have green beans, I might have some zucchini and broccoli and cauliflower in there. And I find them so easy to digest. And let's face it, that's the food that we were designed to be eating. We weren't designed to be eating food with a lot of butter and milk and salt and sugar. We were really designed to eat very clean. So the more you can do that, the better your bloat is going to be. And I feel so bad with my hubby and my son when I say, I'm not eating what you're eating tonight because I just want to have my bowl of greens. But do it because it's your body, it's your body to take care of and love and nourish in a way that works for you, because everyone else in your household or your family, they may be working with a really different microbiome and a different hormonal sort of balance. So do what works for you and don't feel bad about it, feel good about it. Okay, so the last thing is identify, are there triggers that are contributing that you can identify directly in your diet to your bloating and also to any pain or constipation or discomfort that you may be experiencing. So work out if it is dairy, if it is gluten, if it is a particular type of food that you're eating that's meant to be healthy but isn't kind of working out so well for you. So have a look at that, and also look at sugar intake and salt intake. Bloating in perimenopause, it's so common, but you're not alone and there are things you can do about it. And I hope this video was helpful for you. You can see a naturopath about bloating and chronic bloating. There is absolutely nothing wrong with seeing a health practitioner to work on digestion in midlife, because most women are experiencing the symptoms of those microbiome shifts. If you'd like to work with me, you'll find me at herbalwell.com.au, and you can follow me on Instagram at perimenopause.naturopath. Stay tuned for more videos coming, and have a beautiful day. I'll see you soon.